Hello dear friends. This video is about a technique that will help you to get out of any of your roles and stick to the state that you want. With this technique, you will become in control of your feelings instead of them controlling you. For example, after a breakup, there is often discouragement or anxiety or both at the same time. But these feelings do not belong to your personal self, but to its roles. I remind you, there is a central self in each of us. It is characterized by such states as calmness, indifference. Don't confuse this with apathy. It is exactly calmness with light joy, independence, relaxation, feeling of wholeness. This is the state of Buddha. In this state, you don't care at all about absolutely everything. It can be felt in nature, looking out to sea, fishing, in the mountains, lying on the grass, in the snow, on the sand, driving in a car, where there is absolute relaxation, nonchalance, and healthy apathy. But given your social life and the fact that you interact with other people, in a state of total carelessness, you are at the very least unlikely to be understood, and you will definitely not be accepted. In order to be understood and accepted by people, our central self, by necessity, puts on different roles since childhood. Sometimes you are a good friend, sometimes a husband, a wife, sometimes a hard worker, a lazy person, a father, a mother, a son or a daughter, a brother, a customer, a sad person, a rude person, a victim, and so on. And there are many such roles in man's life, almost for all cases of life. If you encounter something new, you learn new behavior in this role, remembering what you have already seen and heard about how to be in this role. Learning is always a discomforting experience. If this is the first breakup for you, here it is learning a new role. When I got dumped or when I broke up or other similar, it doesn't matter how it sounds. The important thing is that before you were in a relationship with someone, you were in a role, most likely a comfortable role. And now you're either in a new role or in a role you already know if you've broken up with someone before. In general, a role is a set of feelings, sensations, thoughts, goals, intentions, etc. Any role, unless consciously controlled, manifests automatically. For example, depression is just a role, a state your central self goes into. So you say to others when someone asks what's wrong with you, I'm depressed, I'm apathetic, I'm discouraged, I am in some state. And you don't even notice how you sink into this state. In my methods, I give you an algorithm to remain yourself, no matter what happens in your life. And if you have entered a state, a role, then learn to quickly fall out of it. That's exactly what you have to learn. Let me tell you now about the mechanism of sinking to the bottom of the state you encounter after a breakup. You need to know this because we will use the same mechanism to get into a good mood and confidence and productivity. That is, both diving into a negative state and diving into a positive state utilize the same mechanism. This mechanism can be clearly seen when you have a few days or even a few weeks after a breakup. And now everything seems to be fine. Your brain is getting used to the new state that you need to live somehow. And suddenly, at some point, you are hit by a wave of emotions, which seems impossible to cope with. And you either fall into apathy, tears, or into anxiety, or into rage, or into deep sadness, longing, into some state. This I call the emotional bottom, when it is worst. Everything is already there. You have fallen into the most painful state. You have not noticed, but there are thoughts that gradually sink you to the bottom. They can start with anything. You saw a silhouette that reminds you of a former partner, or him personally, or his photo, the number in your phone, in recent messages, someone you know will ask you about your partner, and so on. There are countless situations you can encounter. And then you start having thoughts like, I will never meet anyone else. There is no one else. Everyone is doing well, but I am doing badly. Why live if there is no relationship? No one loves me, no one needs me, and so on. So you don't notice, but these thoughts gradually thicken the colors of your condition. Another portion of thoughts, even worse. For some people, the process of sinking to the bottom takes seconds, for others minutes, but the result is the same. Everything is bad, nothing good is and will be. I can't live like this, I don't want to, there is no sense. This is tunnel thinking, which I told you about in very first videos of this course, in the theoretical part. I won't repeat it. If you haven't watched it, you should watch. So, in general, specific thoughts leads to a deep and acute experience of apathy, fear, sadness, despondency, and anxiety. These thoughts can and must be controlled, for they are all formed in your head, and everything that happens within the boundaries of your body is up to you. But I'm not talking about control now. We only need to understand the mechanism of diving to the bottom of experiences. Understanding the process is the first step to self-control, and many techniques are even based on it, that you have to understand the process itself. For example, OSHA. The next thing that will be interesting is the mechanism separation from a bottom point, from a maximum negative point, to the state I am me, where there is more or less calm and everything is under control. In principle, it is possible to fall apart with any experience, even when it's very weak, it just bothers you a little, itches somewhere, and that's all. You can fall apart with it. So how do you break with it? You need to identify several elements. We will take 3 elements that are present in any role and in any of your states. These are feelings, body sensations, and thoughts. For example, let's take the state of anxiety. There are thoughts like what to do, how to live on, how to return, how to calm down, how to forget, I can no longer, or that's it, I'm going to hell. At the same time with these thoughts, there is a feeling of anxiety that turns into fear. And there are body sensations, such as a pain in the chest, tightness in the shoulders, stiffness in the legs, drilling in the stomach, trembling in the hands, and other body manifestations. These are the elements that are always present in any state and act simultaneously. And we will rely on them in the mechanism of separation. What does the technique of separation look like? For this purpose, we will use your imagination. Look, there are concrete thoughts in your head. In order to control them, it's enough for you to take them out of your head. At the same time, you need to realize that these thoughts are not you. For example, there is the thought how to live on, and the thought what should I do now. You close your eyes and write it in the air. Write these thoughts in the air, for example on your left, and write them down. How to live on. What should I do now? In any color, black, white, red, blue, it doesn't matter. Once you have written out your thoughts outside your body, in the air, you need to say the following words, realizing it. These are my thoughts. I created them. But I am not these or any other thoughts. I am me. I am something more than some thoughts. Let us understand this because it's clear that it's not clear. Thoughts, on the other hand, were created by you, not by anyone else, but by you. So by accepting that you created them, you are the creator. You take responsibility for what is created in you, and not as usual, I can control it, I can do anything with myself, and so on. Second, I am not thoughts, I am me. I am more than thoughts. Of course you are not thoughts. Look at yourself. Are you made of thoughts? No. Do thoughts have arms or legs? No. Do thoughts have skin? No. They are just words that you also just create. And if you let them, you can create them quickly and a lot. Thoughts are a set of letters, words, and phrases. And you need to say, feeling this mantra, that you are from your toes to the top of your head. The main thing is to realize that thoughts are thoughts, and I am me, by separating them from yourself. The list of unpleasant thoughts in acute moments seems big, that's many they are. But more often it scrolls down to 5 thoughts, even less, probably 3 thoughts. Most often these thoughts are either a rhetorical question of some kind, like what to do, or deadpan statement, like what a fool I am, or what a is she or he. But thoughts are thoughts, and I am me. I create thoughts, so I am the creator of thoughts. The next element is feelings. For example, let's take the same anxiety. If we write out thoughts somewhere to the left of the head, then feelings are created in the area of solar plexus, in the chest. Well, take it from the middle of the stomach to the throat. And you need to imagine the feeling as balls, each of particular color. What size? Well, depending on how much pain you are in. Most often it's ball like a big tennis ball. We take the feeling of anxiety and make it into a ball, like a green color, for example. From the solar plexus outwards in front of you, set it in a meter away from you and in the air, and say the same mantra, but now only to the feelings. These are my feelings. I created them. But I am not these or any other feelings. I am me. I am something more than some feelings. Run from the toes to the top of your head. Feelings, on the other hand, have no feet, no hands, no head. There is an incomprehensible something called feelings. And I am me. I am not just a feeling. I can create those feelings. If you have one feeling, you have one. If you have two, you have two balls. If you have three balls, you have three feelings. Whether they are different colors or one color, it doesn't matter, as long as you are comfortable. So you have taken it out, said the mantra, felt that you are you, not a feeling, and then pay attention to body sensations. Somehow it manifests in the body when you feel anxious. Your hands may be shaking, intermittent breathing, pain in the chest, in the heart, a lump in the throat, something choking you, pressing, shooting, stabbing, cutting. You take everything that you feel in the body at the time when you feel some specific feelings. In our case, it's anxiety. And you imagine in your imagination as a certain ghost or as a dark silhouette, as a part of a silhouette, but with these sensations. For example, you can imagine it as a translucent something, some image in the form of maybe smoke of some color, coming out of your body to the right forwards at 45 degrees. Basically, there is no pattern to this something that will come out of you. As you see it, so it is. So set it up in the air, a meter away from you, and say the same mantra to yourself. It is simple. These are my body sensations. I created them. But I am not these or any other body sensations. I am me. I am something more than some sensations. And run from the toes to the top of your head, feeling your whole self. So there are body sensations to your right, there are feelings in form of balls in front of you, there are thoughts to your left in the air. And now you say it with feeling. I created this, but I am me. And this thing in front of me is not me. I am more. You can add anger and feeling of antagonism here. I said this is my life. Why the hell do I have these feelings in me? Next, you take out of the window all the things you have brought out of yourself. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Take it 50 meters away from the building and blow it up in the form of something beautiful out there. Fireworks of light, of flowers, of snowflakes, of colored dust slowly falling down, so that there is a beautiful outcome. Not just pass over and that was it, but to finish it beautifully, that it's to switch quickly for a while to positive. Come back from this beautiful picture into yourself and ask, am I a me or is there something else? When you have done everything, return it to yourself, and when you ask if I am me and you find that there is something else, then again, in the same order, determine what thoughts, feelings, and body sensation you have. If any of the elements are not present, then bring out what is there. For example, if there are no body sensations, then bring out only thoughts and feelings. If there are only thoughts, then bring out only thoughts. But this is unlikely to happen because there are always thoughts and always feelings at the same time. As soon as you have come to the state I am me, more or less feel your whole body, become much calmer, then take a deep breath and stretch. Stretching your shoulders well, because the body has missed this state. This will help to loosen it up, remove any remaining clamps in the body, blocks and other tensions that have arisen because of these emotional experiences. For now, without thinking about anything, without tuning it to anything, just stay in the state you are in, the state of I am me. Next, you need to give your central self a new role, a new, effective, and beneficial behavior after the breakup. Under what role, with what thoughts, feelings, body sensation you would easily, calmly move into your autonomous life without this person? If you have such an experience in your life, create a list of thoughts in that role, in your phone. Remember yourself during the period when your autonomy was manifested and write down all the thoughts you had there. Add something new. For example, I know everything is gonna be okay. I don't need anyone to live my life. I feel good when I'm left to myself. I can do whatever I want, and so on. If you can't remember anything, think of the same state for yourself, answering the question. Most likely, what thoughts does a person have or will I have when he or she belongs to himself or herself? When a person is self-confident and feels integrity and autonomy in their life. Not loneliness and detachment from the world, but the realization that he is in his life and he is the main, that everyone has their own life and he too. And between people is just a relationship, but they are not the main, but the man himself. Have you created such an image? What are the thoughts of such a person? Write them out in a list with 5 thoughts. The more the better. Let's give you a couple more examples of thoughts. I accept everything as it is, whatever it is. Everything I do for me and for my life. It is good that I have time for my life. I was born for me, but not for anyone else. Whatever I want to do, I do what I want to do with my life. So, write out the thoughts and below write down a few feelings of that person. Will these thoughts make you feel confident in yourself? Yes. And confident in your future? Also yes. Will there be a good mood? Well, most likely yes. Will you feel productive in your life? I think so. Will there be calm, concentration? Yes. And body sensations, in principle, you don't have to write it out. They will just pull themselves up. Next, you have a list of thoughts and feelings. A new effective role after the breakup. You have separated from the old suffering role with the help of this technique and entered the state of I am me. And then you stick to the new role, using only the list of thoughts. You don't have to cheer yourself up, slap your cheeks, beat your chest, pinch yourself, tell yourself that I'm going to be fine, just through the new role thoughts list. I told you before that then there are thoughts, there are feelings and body sensations at the same time. So the feelings and the body sensations, they will be just attached automatically. And then you scroll through the thoughts from the list. At first reading them, but with experience just by memory. Thinking them in and trying to feel them. You don't have to do it for a long time. Read, feel, the next. Read, feel, the next thought. The list is over, do it again if you feel that you're still not stuck with the new role. How long before you may be hit with a flurry of emotions again? At first, it can be even in a minute. For some, it can be in a few hours. But gradually, doing this technique, you will notice that you are longer in a new role, and you do not go as deep to the bottom as before. And you will notice that you are less and less likely to get hit. You don't need weeks or months to see this dynamic, just a few days. 3-4 days and you can compare what you will have and how you are doing now.